All right. So we have this is a shout out to Napa because I told him I was doing this video, and we're doing it all right because there's a lot of confusion about Tanya, and I will argue Jade in this as well to a small degree, but ultimately Tanya, right? Now I've been playing Mortal Kombat since the very first one. I've said this before that we essentially have three distinct eras of MK. We've got the 2D era up to Gold, we've got the 3D era from Deadly Alliance to Armageddon, and then we have the NRS era, right? Now, I have no problem, and I've been playing fighting games ever since I was young. I don't care what race the characters are. I've played all different characters, whether they're Asian, Black, Mexican, it doesn't matter. But what's really interesting is it seems that there doesn't seem to be at all any Mexican, Latino representation in the game. Now, the very first person that played Tanya, which was in an MK4, right, who also played Sindel, who also played Serena in the MK Mythologies Serena, Leah Montelongo, who, if you can see here in the highlighted part, ethnicities, Latino, Hispanic. As far as I am concerned, that is where the argument ends. But we will continue. Right? You can see here she was cast as Sindel in Outworld of Mortal Kombat 3. Alright? And we're going to look at some Google images. Just type in Leah Montelongo Tanya. One of the very first pictures you'll come up here. Now, she's probably been tanned a little bit more because maybe they did that for the game, you know, to give her a much more sort of like bronze look. But her original character is not black, right? Her ethnicity is nothing to do with Africa or African American, right? This is where she hails from. Her ethnicity is over here. As far as I'm concerned, the original Tanya, whether you started in the 3D era or the NRS era, the true 3D Tanya is that. And I love it when people go, oh, they whitewashing her skin for Tanya in MK10. Gee, I wonder why. They're not whitewashing. They're lightening it because they're trying to get it back more akin to how she was represented in the game back then. I can't click on that picture, but she's pretty attractive for her age. There she is. There's a picture there. Right. It's a little bit... it might clear up. I don't know. It's a little bit fuzzy. Standing with MK3 arcade machine. She is not... There we go. There's a better one. That is Tanya. Right? Now, maybe you started off in the 3D era where we have somebody cosplaying here or we have over here. Right? That's 3D era Tanya. But she don't look... she don't look like... well, she don't look like that. Right? Or, here we go, more importantly, like that. They race swapped her. Right? Now, I always thought Jade, again, you have to keep in mind, right? Edenian or / Outworld is an alien realm. The women were always considered to be exotic, if you will. They were always sort of had this exotic feel to them, right? They didn't hail from some genetic lineage on Earthrealm unless that is some part of the story that John Tobias has never divulged to us, right? Now, just because you start off in the 3D era and this is what you're used to, hell, you could almost argue maybe she's not even black. She could be like Mexican or Latina here, right? But as I just pointed out, the original Tanya is not this. It is not this. And it is not this. Right? Now, this one, right? I think the skin's darker there. It looks like it's darker, right? Maybe that's a better one, perhaps. It's still tanned, but she's not African black is what we're talking about here, right? And before you clowns get it fucking twisted, I have no problem, none whatsoever, with having other races in the game. I've been playing fighting games probably longer than some of you have been alive, and like most of the rosters in these fighting games were not white. They were from all parts of the world, especially games like, say, King of Fighters, Street Fighter, that sort of thing, right? Now, these are the 3 characters she played, right? Obviously, they put like maybe a bit more of a tan on her there, because in game they're trying to differentiate her skin, so she's not white, but she doesn't look black, like as in like say African, right? Now over here we have some of the original cast, right? You look at Leah there. She doesn't look like a white girl. She looks like Mexican or Latina, right? I'm assuming that's the same thing. Forgive my ignorance. I am Australian. I don't know if I'm supposed to be differentiating the two or not. Right, we've got the Jax, the original Jax. Fantastic. Got another shot here. This was just recent, apparently. With Kano, the original Kano as well. Another shot of here. Now, I'm not looking at this chick and thinking, oh yeah, what part of Africa she's from. For the people that are sitting there and going, oh, you just hate black people. No, I don't. You know, I always find it hilarious. These people that go, we live in a racist country, all this sort of crap, and yet, then why would any other races outside of white even exist to even have any foothold anywhere? No, you just say that shit because you're a fucking idiot, right? We aren't living in racist countries. You just want them to be racist countries so you can get brownie points, right? I'm not saying that racism has not happened to people, but you guys act like Western countries is like living in like, you know, 1940s Germany. And even 1940s Germany weren't racist, right? There's an interesting story because I think it was an American, I can't remember his name. It was an American runner that won gold. Like, they hosted the Olympics, right? And I believe the bad guy of WW2 acknowledged his achievements. And that when he was walking down the street, I believe in some of his autobiography, I think it was, that people would come up to him and talk to him. And then when he got on the boat to go back to America in the 1940s, or whenever the Olympics was, 30s, as soon as he got off the boat, they're saying whites this way, blacks that way. So who's the racist, right? Those times certainly don't exist in the West anymore. Obviously to that, you know, disgusting degree. But this Tanya, right, is not this. When I think of Tanya, I don't think of this, right? You could almost argue, and I'm going to get in so much trouble when I say, I mean, South American, that still includes like Mexico and stuff, right? Obviously, yeah. Again, forgive me, I live in Australia, right? But you could argue she's starting to look more, say, black American. I can't click on that picture, sorry there. It's a little bit too naughty for YouTube. But this is the original Tanya, as per her actual ethnicity, Latino Hispanic. So when I sit there, and Total MK sits there, and many others of us sit there, and we go, we're not actually racist, we just want these characters that have been created to actually maintain the legacy from their creation. That's what we're asking for. Why would a racist want someone that isn't white in their game? I'm not sitting here advocating for Tanya to be white here. I'm advocating that she is actually representative of the actress that portrayed her for the very first time in MK4/MK Golf. That's what I want, right? We have many black characters in Mortal Kombat, right? We have Kai, we have, actually, I think someone said the other day, they reckon Kai might have been Aboriginal. I don't know. We got Kai, we got Darius, we got Jax, right? That's 3 off the top of my head. And then we got a whole host of Asians that are in the cast. Like Absolutely Asian washed, if you will. Right? They're everywhere, and that's great, because I don't give a fuck. I never did. Okay? But when they make changes like this, what I see is DEI. Now, you could argue again, you can go all the way back, and you say, well, you know, Tanya looks like a black chick here. Maybe she is. And some of the aspects, too, are part of the fantasy, actually, of, you know, wondering about these characters' ethnicities. I think that was part of it, wondering, you know, relationship status and all sorts of things. There was a little bit more mystery with these characters back in the day. Now we have to hear about fucking days of our life. Right? There's all the original girls, the original Sonya, both Sonyas. Right? We've got Becky Gable. Absolutely stunning. They're all stunning. Right? Caitlin Zamir. I can't. My apologies for saying that. Right? Caitlin doesn't. Now I'd have to check, but Caitlin doesn't look like white. You know, like European white. She looks like she could be maybe partially Latina as well. I don't know. Right? I don't know. Could be Italian. Going back to the Jade argument, actually, I actually always thought that Jade could have been Mediterranean. Like comparing, now I know obviously there's different shades of skin color. I get that. You know, that happens with all people. But I remember seeing Jade for the first time, and I always sort of wondered, was she Italian? Was she from some part of the Mediterranean? Sicily, Italian, you know? That's what I thought. Nothing to do with like fucking hating black people, some stupid racist shit that people come up with, right? You're just ignorant, right? Now, if you think that she's black, she's black. But she don't look black here. She don't look black here. She looks and reminds me directly of this wonderful lady here. Okay? And ask yourself this question. For such a progressive developer, why is it that we don't actually have, right, representation of these, you know, South Americans? Street Fighter's done it. SNK's done it. Probably I think Dead or Alive's done it. Right? Soul Calibur, perhaps? Maybe, I don't know, I'd have to check. NetherRealm, right, seem to be fixated, right? They changed how Jade looked, right? There was that shot I just found before. Okay. This one here. That's not Jade. Because if you look up, hang on, let's look up Jade, Mortal Kombat, Ultimate MK3, right? I'm not seeing a black lady here. Actually, well, MK2 as well. I am seeing somebody that could either be from, say, South America, or somebody from, like the Mediterranean. You know, because if you go to the Mediterranean, obviously, again, different shades, but primarily very bronze skin color, right? It's got nothing to do with it's got nothing to do with not liking black people, as the race hustlers like to push, right? Now, again, and this is what I'm saying, this is why I get very irritated with NetherRealm. And under the guidance, actually, if we go all the way back, under Ed Boon, exclusively. Because obviously, there's no legacy to be kept in his head. He doesn't care about change. He doesn't care about mixing things up and destroying, you know, the fabric of this great franchise, you know, for appealing to fucking, you know, millennials and zoomers or whatever. Not all of them, but the types that just love all the, you know, they got that like TikTok brain, you know. And I'm sorry, but like, again, Tanya, why don't you guys ask why NetherRealm doesn't put that representation in fighters in it, right? The closest we got to anything like that was Nightwolf, right? Nightwolf. And where's he now? He's gone. Right? Now we had Jackie, we had Jackie. But again, as per NetherRealm, they butchered her face and her looks in favor of what the original leaks and the original artist sketching was. They made her really attractive. Same with Cassie Cage. She looked really attractive, and then they just, yet again, sweet baby influence, DEI kicks in, and they have to uglify these women. Now, beauty's subjective, but let's be honest, when you piece all the bits together, statements that they've made and changes to the game and the subtle things in story and whatnot, I don't care. It's not just about race or anything like that. I was pissed that they fucking, they what do you call it? They butchered Sindel's. They literally retconned Sindel within the same timeline. Right, so not alternate timeline, so you can't even use that argument within this timeline. Right? That's what they did. Okay? And it's disgusting. So, anyway, catch you next time.